setter, first year, number 8, Jordan Speidel. At middle blocker, sophomore, number 13, Matt Lavin. At middle blocker, first year, number 15, Billy Murphy. At outside hitter, sophomore, number 23, Caleb Bowder. At right side, junior, number 32, Brian Ross. The Cougars are coached by Rob Winger and assisted by Lauren Appitz and Joe Portland. The MAC Freedom of Misericordia University welcome you to today's contest. The MAC Freedom promotes good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We encourage your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or the site of competition. The consumption or possession of
Good evening and welcome to tonight's men's volleyball matchup between the Arcadia Knights and your Misericordia University Cougars in the Anderson Center tonight. You're watching this match on MCN 87 on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. My name's Lauren Apetz. I'm a women's assistant here. I'll be broadcasting the game for you tonight. And on your screen, you will have the Cougars in blue on the right and Arcadia in the gray and maroon jerseys on the left. On the court for Arcadia, you have number 24, Quinn Bailey, outside hitter. Number 27, Austin Braz, middle hitter junior. Libero, number 2, Brandon Catola. Number 7, Jason Manley as an outside. Number 14, Robbie Moctezuma as a middle hitter. Number 3, Edwin Waters Jr., senior outside. And number 9, Anthony Devantier in setter position. Now on the right for your Cougars, freshman number 8, Jordan Speidel will be starting off the match for us. Libero, number 6, Connor Westerfield. Number 23, Caleb Bowder on the outside. We have Ryan Miller, number 7 on the outside. Number 15, Billy Murphy in the middle. And number 32, Brian Ross on the right side. And Speidel serves out of bounds for the first point of this match. Arcadia coming in with a record of 14-4, 4-0 in conference. Misericordia coming in 8-6, 1-1 in conference. As Nisley's back to serve. Ball goes out to Ross, and Ross' swing is long, point for the Knights. And Nisley will continue to serve. Cougar program in its second year under head coach Rob Wingert. Knights coached by Kevin Rivas. Another topspin serve, and this time the ace is number 23, Caleb Bowder, as the Knights get on to an early 3-0 run here in the first set. Again, sets played to 25, must win by 2, and each match is best of 5, as we have another topspin serve from Nisley. This time up by Bowder, over on 1, and it drops just outside the line. Another ace for Nisley as their lead extends 4-0. Another topspin from Nisley. Up by Miller. Speidel going back to Miller. And Miller is blocked by number 27, Austin Braz, and number 3, Edwin Waters. 5-0 Knights. We have a substitution on the floor for the Cougars. Number 3, Jason Campbell checking in for Caleb Bowder. 5-0 as Nisley continues to topspin. Up by Campbell, and it's over on 1, up by Waters. Going back to Manley. Manley's dug by Campbell. Speidel to Murphy, and Murphy is soloed by number 27, Austin Braz. Austin Braz measuring in at 6'6", Murphy measuring in 6'3", junior against a freshman. All the Cougars on the court are freshmen and sophomores, minus junior transfer, number 32, Brian Ross. Westerfield up, Speidel going to Miller again, and Miller's swing is wide, point for the Knights. Lead extends 7-0. Nisley, freshman, continues to serve. He's 6'7", so he can put a lot of height and power behind this top spin, and he misses, giving the Cougars their first point, as number 7, Ryan Miller, will head back to serve. Ryan Miller will also have a top spin. Miller raking 6 in the MAC with kills per set at 263. And the ball goes to Braz, and Braz gets the kill off the hands of Campbell and Murphy. Point for Arcadia, as number 9, Anthony Devontier, heads back to serve. He'll have a top spin. Lefty. Drops inbounds. Miller with a shank. Westerfield running it down. Free ball from Campbell. Up by Bailey. To Braz, and Braz gets the kill off Devontier. Point Knights. 9-1 here in the first set in the Anderson Center. Another top spin. Up by Westerfield. Speidel going out to Campbell. Campbell gets the kill down line. Point for the Cougars. As number 15, first year Billy Murphy, heads back to serve. Float serve from him. Ball's up going to Braz. Braz is blocked but covered. Going back to Waters. Waters swings and gets the kill. Point for Arcadia. Checking in for Arcadia is number 12, Jared Pickler, for number 3, Waters. And Pickler will head back to serve. Knights extend their lead to 8. We'll have another top spin serve. Up by Campbell. Going back to Ross. Ross is blocked, covered by Westerfield. Speidel out to Campbell. And Campbell gets the hit dug off the neck of number 9, Devontier, but Knights unable to do anything with it. Point for the Cougars. As number 32, junior right side, Brian Ross, heads back to serve. And that floats out of bounds. Point for the Knights. Number 27, Austin Braz, back to serve. Another top spin. And that ball's out of bounds. Point for the Cougars. As number 3, Jason Campbell, will be behind the line. Float serve from Campbell. Going back to Manley. Manley dug by Ross. Speidel going out to Miller. And Miller is blocked by number 7, Jason Manley, and number 14, Robbie Moctezuma. Manley measuring up at 6'5", Moctezuma measuring up at 6. By Westerfield, over on 1, and number 27, Austin Braz, gets the overpass kill. Point for the Knights. Devontier continuing to serve. Up by Westerfield. Speidel to Murphy, and Murphy is blocked by number 27, Austin Braz. Their lead extends 17-7. Timeout called by Rob Wingert of the Misericordia Cougars. the first timeout of this set as number 9, Devontier, continues to serve for the Knights. Topspin up by Miller. Speidel going out to Campbell, and Campbell's block is blocked, and it drops just inside the line. Point for the Knights. That block, number 27, Austin Braz, and number 7, Jason Manley. Devontier continuing to serve. Another topspin up by Campbell. Speidel going back to Ross, and Ross is blocked and finds the edge of his hand. Point for the Knights. And we have a substitution, first year, number 22, Tyler Malotzi. Checking in, 5'11", right side. Devontier continues to serve. Up by Campbell to Murphy. And Murphy finds the floor. Point for the Cougars. As Murphy will head back to serve. Cougars trail 19-8. Murphy with the float, and that's just out of bounds. Point for Arcadia. Number 12, Jared Pickler coming in to serve. Topspin up by Campbell. Speidel back to Malotzi, and that finds deep corner. Point for the Cougars. New Cougar on the floor, number 21, Matt Churchill. And they'll have a float serve. Up by Pickler, going back to Manley. And Devontier called on a ball handling error as he lifted that set. Point for the Cougars. 20-10, Churchill continues to serve. And that serve goes long. Point for the Knights. Number 26, Evan Meidzel coming in to serve for Braz. Up by Miller. Going to Lavin. Lavin is dug. Going out to Bailey. Dug and over on one. Giving it to Moctezuma. Dug by Westerfield. Miller giving it to Campbell. He's dug. Going out to Bailey. Bailey's dug by Westerfield. Speidel running it down, getting it out to Campbell. And Campbell is blocked by Moctezuma and Manley. Point for the Knights. Number 26, Evan Meidzel continuing to serve. Up by Campbell. Speidel takes it over on two. Point for the Cougars. Kill for Jason Speidel. Jordan Speidel. As Jason Campbell heads back to serve. Float serve from Campbell. And that's in. Ace for number 3, Jason Campbell on the cut the lead down to 10. Float serve again. This time it's up. Going out to Bailey. Bailey's dug by Westerfield, over on one. And Manley decides not to swing, and it dribbles off his back. Point for the Cougars. Arcadia 22, Cougars 13. Campbell back to serve. Float drops out of bounds. Point for the Knights. Knights extend their lead back to 10 as number 7, Jason Manley, heads back to serve. Topspin from Manley. Up by Campbell. Churchill running it down. Westerfield will send a free ball over. Manley takes it first contact. Dump over on 2. Westerfield able to scramble to get it up. Ryan Miller shooting it deep. Manley with second hands, and he'll get called on a double point for the Cougars. Number 13, Matt Lavin back to serve as number 15, Billy Murphy checks back in front row. Matt Lavin will have a float. Bailey getting an out-of-system ball, shoots it deep, and it's just outside the corner. Point for the Cougars. 23-15 as Lavin continues to serve. Up by Bailey, back to Manley, up by Campbell. Going out to Miller. Miller tips, and there's a net violation on number 14, Robbie Moctezuma. Point for the Cougars. (23-16) as Lavin continues to serve. And Lavin gets an ace on number 24, Colin Bailey. Lead is cut down to 6, 23-17. Lavin continuing to serve. Scramble play, Manley sending a free ball over. Churchill, Speidel out to Miller. Miller one-on-one, he's dug. Going to Bailey back row, he's blocked. Ball's going out to Meitzel, and Meitzel gets the kill off the hands of Speidel. And it's set point for the Knights, 24-17, as number 24, Quinn Bailey, heads back to serve. Up by Westerfield, and the Cougars unable to run it down. Set number 1 ends on an ace, 25-17. Welcome back to tonight's matchup between Arcadia Knights and Misericordia Cougars. The Knights will be on the right side of your screen now in the gray and maroon jerseys. Cougars on the left in the blue and white. Just taking a quick look at some stats from that first set. Hitting percentage is much like baseball. Arcadia is hitting a .368. The Cougars hitting a negative .136. And with Arcadia having 8 kills to Misericordia's 7. And the main difference here is the attack errors. 10 for Misericordia and 1 for Arcadia. Leading Arcadia in hitting percentage is Waters, followed by Braz. Waters is hitting 1,000. Braz is hitting a 750. Looking at hitting percentage for your Cougars, Ryan Miller hitting a negative .143. Billy Murphy hitting a negative .333. And Brian Ross hitting a negative .750. And on the court for Arcadia, starting us off is number 24, Quinn Bailey. He'll have a topspin up by Campbell. Spidel takes it over on 2. He's dug. Going back to Bailey. And Bailey gets to kill out of the back row. Joining Bailey on the court is number 7, Manley. Number 9, Devontier. Number 14, Moctezuma. Number 3, Waters. And libero, number 2, George. On the court for the Cougars, number 15, Billy Murphy. Spidel back at setter. Westerfield at libero, who makes that pass, getting out to Billy on the outside. He's dug over on 1. Billy loses that joust, but able to get it out to Ryan Miller. He's dug by George. Going back to Manley. Manley's dug by Ross, over on 1. George with the dig. Going out to Waters, and Waters gets the dig as he wins the one-on-one battle against Spidel. Number 32, Brian Ross on the court, along with Campbell and Miller. Bailey continuing to serve as Arcadia takes a 2-0 lead here in set number 2. Leading 1-0. Campbell, Spidel, Murphy with the cut shot and the kill. Point for the Cougars as Spidel heads back to serve. Spidel with the float serve, and that float is out of bounds. Point for the Knights as number 17, Colin Nisley, checks in to serve. He'll have a top spin. And that's in the net. Point for the Cougars as number 7, Ryan Miller, heads back to serve. Ryan Miller will have a top spin. Ball's up by Bailey. Devontier out to Waters, and Waters' attack is long. Point for the Cougars as they tie it up 3-3 here early on in set number 2. Miller, his serve just out of bounds. Point for the Knights. Number 9, Anthony Devontier, back to serve. He'll have a top spin. Up by Miller. Spidel getting it out to Campbell. And Campbell gets the kill. Point for the Cougars as number 23, Caleb Bowder, checks in to serve for Billy Murphy. Bowder will have a top spin. He decides to float it and gets the ace on number 3, Waters. Point for the Cougars. This time he'll float it again, and that's out of bounds. Point for the Knights. Number 12, Jared Pickler back to serve. He'll have a topspin. 5-5, Ryan Miller to Lavin. Lavin is blocked and it's in bounds. Blocked by number 27, Austin Braz. (6-5) as Pickler continues to serve. Up by Miller. Going back to Ross. And Ross's swing hits the antenna. Point for the Knights. Little discussion with the down ref and the Knights. Not sure what the down ref saw. Head coach Eli Poor down talking with the down ref. Seeing what he saw, down ref will go discuss it with the up ref. Point goes to the Knights as Ross's attack did hit the antenna. Point Knights still discussing it on the court. This time Captain Ryan Miller with the down ref. Number 12 Pickler back to serve. He'll have a topspin. Miller, Spidle out to Campbell. Campbell's dug by Pickler. Going back to Manley. Manley's dug by Miller. Spidle running it down, giving it out to Campbell. Roll shot. Pickler. Devontier out to Bailey, and Bailey's swing is in bounds. Point for the Knights as Arcadia extends the lead 8-5. Topspin up by Campbell, tight ball, and point goes to the Cougars as number 27 Austin Braz broke the plane of the net. Ball cannot be touched by an opposing team's player unless the ball was on top of the net or broke the plane. The ball did not do that, so point goes to the Cougars as number 32 Brian Ross is back with a float. Up by Pickler, going back to Manley. And Manley is blocked by Jason Campbell and Matt Lavin. Point for the Cougars as the Cougars pull within one, 8-7. Number 32, Brian Ross, continues to serve, and he'll have a float serve. Up by Pickler, scramble play, free ball. Up by Westerfield, going back to Lavin. Lavin runs a slide, he's dug by Pickler. Devontier back to Manley, and Manley swings for the kill. Point for the Knights as the Knights extend the lead to 2, 9-7. Topspin by Braz, and that's in the bottom of the tape. Point for the Cougars as they pull back within one. 9-8 as number 3 Campbell heads back to serve. Float serve from Campbell. Up by George. Going out to Bailey. Bailey's blocked. He covers himself. Devontier giving it back to Bailey. This time touched by Speidel. Speidel able to get it out. Westerfield giving it out to Ryan. He's dug by George. Devontae back to Manley, and Manley gets the kill off the outside hand of Ryan Miller. Point for the Knights. Number 7, Jason Manley back to serve. And that ball is out of bounds. Point for the Cougars. Number 13, Matt Lavin back to serve. Number 15, Billy Murphy back front row. Lavin with the float. Up by Pickler. Devontae to Moctezuma, and Moctezuma gets the kill off the hands of Ryan Miller. Point Knights. Substitution on the Knights side. Number 3, Edwin Waters Jr. checking back into the game for number 12, Jared Pickler. Number 24, Quinn Bailey back to serve for the Knights. Up by Campbell. Speidel able to run it down. Ross will send a free ball over. George will be there, giving it to Moctezuma, and Moctezuma's attack is long. Point for the Cougars. As the Cougars pull back within 1, 11-10, as Speidel is back to serve. Float serve from Speidel, up by Waters. Vontae giving it back to Waters, off the hands of Murphy. Dug by Speidel. Westerfield giving it back to Miller. Miller's blocked, and that blocked ball will drop out of bounds. Point for the Cougars as they tie it up at 11-11. Float serve from Speidel. Vontae gave it to Manley in the back row, and there's a touch called off the block, off the hand of Ryan Miller. Point for the Knights. As the Knights take the lead, 12-11. Nisley back serving, up by Miller. Tight ball out to Ross. Ross tips it over, dug by Manley. Scramble play out to Waters. He roll shots it. He's blocked, covers himself, over on 1. Westerfield with the dig. Speidel going back to Miller. Miller swings. He's blocked, covered by Murphy. Speidel scrambling to keep it alive. Free ball by Campbell. Braz with the dig. Devontae with the set, and Braz with the kill. Point for the Knights as the lead extends to 2, 13-11. Topspin for Nisley. Off the tape, up by Westerfield. Going to Billy Murphy, and Billy Murphy gets the kill out of the middle. Point for the Cougars. Cougars back within 1, 13-12, as number 7, Ryan Miller, heads back to serve. Topspin for Miller. Up by Waters, going to Braz, and Braz gets the kill as Campbell jumps early with the setter, and Braz has no one on the net to block him. Point for the Knights. Lead extends by 2, 14-12. Topspin for Devontae, up by Miller. Speidel giving it back to Ross, and Ross is blocked, but the ball goes out of bounds. Point for the Cougars. Caleb Bowder checking to serve for Billy Murphy. And that ball is long. Point for the Knights as number 12, Jared Pickler, checks in for Waters. Ross with the pass, Little miscommunication on that attack from Matt Lavin. Point for Arcadia as Pickler continues to serve. Up by Westerfield, Speidel giving it out to Campbell, and Campbell wins the one-on-one and gets the kill. Point for the Cougars. Brian Ross back to serve. He'll have a float. Up by Pickler. Going to Braz. Braz is dug by Ross, but it drops over and out of bounds. Point for the Knights. Number 26, Evan Meisel back to serve. Up by Westerfield. And Westerfield is called on a lift, holding that ball for too long before releasing it. Point for the Knights. As the Knights take an 18-14 lead, one of the biggest leads we've had this set. Float serve up by Westerfield to Lavin. Lavin is dug by Meisel. Going out to Bailey. Bailey's dug by Westerfield. And the ball is kept alive off the ceiling. Going to Moctezuma, and Moctezuma gets the kill. Point for the Knights. And head coach Rob Wingert takes a timeout for the Cougars. Back after that Cougar timeout. The biggest lead we've seen in this set. Arcadia leading 19-14 as Meisel continues to serve for the Knights. Up by Westerfield. Miller able to run it down, giving it out to Campbell. Campbell swings and Campbell gets the kill. Assist there for number 7, Ryan Miller, as Campbell will head back to serve. Campbell with the float serve. Up by George. Devontae out to Bailey. And Bailey gets the swing down the line. Point for Arcadia. Number 7, Jason Mainley back to serve for the Knights. He'll have a top spin. Up by Campbell. Speidel giving it to Miller. Miller tips it, and Miller gets the kill. Tipped to what we like to call the donut. Point for the Cougars as number 13, Matt Lavin, will head back to serve. Lavin with the float. Up by Pickler. Tipped by Moctezuma. Speidel sending it over. Going out to Bailey. Bailey swings, dug by Campbell. Speidel giving it out to Miller. Miller tips, and this time his throw is out of bounds. Point for the Knights. Checking back in for the game for the Knights is number 3, Edwin Waters Jr. For number 12, Jared Pickler. Number 24, Quinn Bailey back to serve for Arcadia. Up by Westerfield, Speidel giving it to Miller in the middle. Miller tips it short and finds the floor. Point for the Cougars. Speidel back to serve. Speidel with a float by George. Giving it back to Manley. High off the hands of Miller, and Campbell unable to pass the ball off of it. Point for Arcadia. As number 4, Brandon Catala, checks in to serve for number 14, Moctezuma. Float up by Westerfield, back to Murphy, and Murphy swings low and into the tape. Point for the Knights, 23-17 now your score. Knights maintain the lead this set. Float serve up by Campbell. Speidel with a one-handed set to Murphy, who rolls it over. Devontae out to Waters. Waters is blocked, but the block drops high and out of bounds. Point for the Knights, as the Knights have set point number 1 at 24-17. Catala continuing to serve. Float serve, Campbell. Speidel out to Ross, and Ross's kill finds the floor. Point for the Cougars as number 7, Ryan Miller, heads back to serve, and it's set point number 2 for Arcadia, 24-18. Miller with a top spin, up by Bailey, over on 2, dug by Speidel. Westerfield, out of system ball to Ross. Ross is dug by Bailey, giving it back to Manley and right back. And Manley gets the kill off the arms of Campbell and Murphy. Point for the Knights, and the Knights take set number 2, 25-18, and they lead the match 2-0. And we're back with tonight's matchup of the Arcadia Knights versus the Misericordia Cougars. Arcadia on the left in the gray and maroon, Cougars on the right in the blue and the white. Taking a look overall at the match, Arcadia hitting a 396 on the match, Misericordia hitting an 80, and Waters hitting a 429, Manley 364, Moctezuma 200, Bras standing out with a 856. Looking at the Cougars side of things, Brian Miller's in the positives hitting a 77, Matt Lavin hitting a negative 250, Brian Ross hitting a negative 222, Jason Campbell keeping him alive hitting a 300 as Speidel will begin the serve. The ball up is by Waters. Waters swinging his block, covered by Bailey. New setter on the court, Alvin Abraham. Abraham to Cannon, and Cannon is blocked. And Misericordia wins that overpass. Point for the Cougars, and the Cougars take the lead here in set number 3 as we have some new Knights on the floor. New setter on the floor, number 1 Alvin Abraham, and new middle hitter, first year, Amadeus Cannon. Ball goes out to Waters. Waters tips, covered by George. Going to Bailey back row, and Bailey's swing is out of bounds. Point for the Cougars. Cougars take a 2-0 lead here in set number 3. Set number 3, a do or die set here for the Cougars as the Knights lead 2-0. Float serve from Speidel, up by Waters. Going back to Waters, and Waters gets the kill. Point for the Knights. Number 15, Amadeus Cannon, back to serve. On the court with them is Bailey, Manley, Bras, Waters, and Abraham. Ball going to Murphy, and Murphy's miss hit earns him a kill. Point for the Cougars. On the court for the Cougars, going back to serve, is Campbell. Speidel setting. Murphy middle, Ross right side, Miller outside. Libero Westerfield. Speidel with a float serve, and he gets the ace off of George. Point for the Cougars, and the Cougars extend their lead by 3, 4-1, as Campbell continues to serve. Up by Bailey. And number 1 setter Alvin Abraham is going to be called on a ball handling error. Double contact on that set. Point for the Cougars, as the Cougars are first to reach 5, extending their lead by 4. Float serve by Campbell again. Bailey, Abraham to Waters, and Waters finds the deep line. Point for the Knights as Abraham heads back to serve. Float serve for Abraham, up by Westerfield. Speidel keeping it alive, free ball from Miller. Up by George. Abraham to Bras, and Bras gets the kill. Point for the Knights as they pull within 2. Cougars lead 5-3. Up by Westerfield. Back to Ross. Ross is blocked but covered by Murphy. Out to Miller. Roll shot up by Abraham. George getting it out to Manley, who roll shots it and gets the kill. Point for the Knights. Abraham continuing to serve with his float. Up by Westerfield. Back to Ross. Ross is dug by Bailey. Abraham giving it back to Manley. And Manley is blocked by number 7, Ryan Miller, and number 15, Billy Murphy. Point for the Cougars. 6-4 the lead now, or the score now, as they may have a 2-point lead, and number 23, Caleb Bowder, checks in the serve. And he floats it into the net. Point for the Knights, as number 12, Jared Pickler, checks in for Edwin Waters Jr. Pickler will be back to serve. Float serve up by Campbell. Going to Lavin, who tips, dug by George. Abraham giving it out to Bailey, swings off the hands, dug by Campbell. Spidel giving it back to Ross. Scramble play on the Knights side, roll shot from Manley up by Westerfield. Going out to Miller. Miller swings and does find the hands of the Arcadia block. Captain Jason Manley discussing the call with the up ref. Ball goes Cougars' way. Score 7-5 as Brian Ross is back to serve. Float serve, trickles off the tape. Abraham back to Manley. Manley is blocked, covered by George. Scramble play. Spidel sending it back deep on one. Abraham able to find it, going to Manley. Manley swings, dug by Campbell. Spidel running into the stands to keep it alive. And Campbell swings on it into the bottom of the tape. Point for the Knights. Number 17, Colin Nisley, checking in to serve for Austin Braz. Topspin. Up by Miller. Lavin with the attack error, point for the Knights as Nisley continues to serve, and we're tied up here in set number 3, 7-7. Another topspin. Up by Westerfield, over on one. And that is a kill for number 15, Amadeus Cannon, on the overpass. Point Knights as Nisley continues to serve, and Arcadia takes their first lead of this third set, 8-7. Topspin. Up by Miller. Spidel to Lavin, and Lavin finds the floor. Point for the Cougars. As we're tied up again here in set number 3, 8-8, as number 7, Ryan Miller, heads back to serve. Miller will have a topspin. Up by George. Abraham back to Manley. Manley is blocked by number 13, Matt Lavin, and number 3, Campbell. Point Cougars. Cougars take a 1-point lead, 9-8. Miller continues to serve. Hill of a topspin. Up by Bailey. And that'll be a kill by Amadeus Cannon. Assist by Alvin Abraham. Point for Arcadia as they tie it back up 9-9 as number 7, Jason Manley, heads back to serve. Topspin from Manley. Up by Miller. Spidel getting it out to Campbell. And Campbell gets the kill off the arms of Cannon. Point Cougars. Number 13, Matt Lavin, back to serve. He'll have a float serve. Up by Pickler, going out to Bailey. And Bailey is blocked as the blocked ball hits off of Bailey's face and out of bounds. Solo block by first-year setter Jordan Spidel as Lavin continues to serve. And he serves it into the net. Point for Arcadia. Cougars maintain 11-10. Score is number 3, Waters, checks back into the game for Pickler, and number 24, Quinn Bailey, back to serve. Bailey with the top, up by Miller. Spidel giving it to Murphy, and Murphy with the miss hit. Attack error, point Arcadia, as we're tied back up at 11-11. Bailey continuing to serve with a topspin, and he gets the ace on the barrel. Connor Westerfield, point for the Knights as they take their second lead of the set, 12-11. Bailey with a topspin, and that drops out of bounds. Point for the Cougars. Tied back up, 12 apiece. Float serve up by Waters. Abraham giving it back to Waters. Waters dug by Miller over on one. He swings, dug by Westerfield. Speidel getting it out to Campbell. Campbell swings, dug by Bailey. Tight pass, Abraham over on two. But the up ref giving the ball to Arcadia. Another captain's discussion at the up ref stand. Number 11, Aaron Knotts checking in to serve for Cannon. Arcadia with a 1-point lead, 13-12. Float serve up by Westerfield. Speidel getting it back to Campbell. And no touch called, point for Arcadia. As Knotts continues to serve. He'll have a float serve. Up by Miller. Speidel getting out to Ross, and Ross is blocked. Point Knights. Knotts continuing to serve as Arcadia takes a 15-12 lead. Float serve up by Westerfield. Speidel getting it to Jason. Roll shotting it, Manley with the dig. Abraham giving it to Bailey back row. Dug by Westerfield. Speidel back to Campbell again. Challenging the hands of Waters and winning. Point for the Cougars as Campbell gets the kill. Number 3, Jason Campbell back to serve. Up by Bailey. Abraham giving it to Braz, dug by Campbell. Speidel getting it out to Miller, and Speidel will be called on a double contact. Point for Arcadia. As setter Alvin Abraham heads back to serve. Float serve from Abraham, up by Westerfield. Speidel keeping it alive. Bailey swinging and blocked by Braz. Point for the Knights. Arcadia up 17 to Cougars 13. Float serve up by Westerfield. Out to Miller, and Miller swings, finds the floor. Point for the Cougars. Number 23, Caleb Bowder, checking in to serve for Murphy. Float serve from Bowder up by Manley. Abraham giving it back out to Manley. And Manley gets the kill. Point for the Knights. Number 12, Jared Pickler, coming in to play back row for Waters. Knights up by 4, 18-14. Float serve up by Campbell. Going out to Miller, and Miller shoves it through and gets the kill. Point for the Cougars, assist by Speidel. Number 32, Brian Ross, heading back to serve. He'll have a float serve. Up by Pickler, going to Braz. A little miscommunication on that attack. Point for the Cougars. Up by Pickler. And that'll be a ball handling error on setter number 1, Alvin Abraham. Point for the Cougars as they pull within one, 18-17. Again, do or die set here for the Cougars. Float serve by Ross. Pickler, Abraham, Bross. Bross finds the corner. Point Knights. Number 17, Colin Nisley checking in to serve for Bross. Knights with a 2-point lead, 19-17. Again, sets played to 25, win by 2, best of 5. Up by Campbell, Speidel tipping it over, Manley keeping it alive, roll shot deep. Westerfield, Speidel giving it to Lavin on the slide, and Lavin finds the solo hand of number 24, Quinn Bailey, and gets the kill. Point Cougars, kill Matt Lavin, assist Speidel as number 7, Ryan Miller, heads back to serve. Miller will have a top spin. And Miller gets the ace on libero Zane George. And the Cougars tie it back up, 19 apiece. As Miller continues to serve, and he'll have a top spin. Up by Pickler, giving it to Manley. And Manley tries to cut it. Does not go over the net. Point for the Cougars as the Cougars take back the lead, 20-19. As Miller continues to serve. Topspin for Miller. Going to the outside of Bailey, and Bailey's attack is out of bounds. Point for the Cougars. As Miller continues to serve. And the Knights will take their first timeout. Cougars lead 21-19. And we're back after that Arcadia timeout as they trail 21 to the 21-19 as Miller continues to serve. And his serve is out of bounds, point for the Knights. Taking a timeout in volleyball, much like icing the kicker in football. Notice the coach's point, topspin from Manley up by Miller. Going out to Campbell, high off the hands. And that'll be 4 contacts by the Knights as the Cougars extend their lead by 2, 22 to 20 as number 21 Matt Churchill is subbing in for Matt Lavin. Churchill will have a float serve. Up by George. Going out to Bailey. Bailey swing dug by Ross, kept alive by Campbell. Spidel swings, and that'll be a miss hit by Spidel. Point for the Knights as they pull within 1. And number 24, Quinn Bailey, heading back to serve for Arcadia. Topspin from Bailey, up by Miller. Spidel giving it to Murphy, and Murphy is blocked by number 15, Amadeus Cannon, and we're tied at 22 apiece. And sets played to 25, must win by 2. Cougars must win this set to stay alive in this match as Bailey continues to serve. Up by Westerfield, going out to Campbell, and Campbell finds the deep back line, but up ref overrules and calls it out because one line is out of bounds. It overrules the in call of the other line. Point Arcadia, 23-22. Arcadia takes back the lead as Bailey continues to serve. Top spin up by Westerfield. Campbell scramble play. Spidel tipping it over. Up by Manley. Abraham giving it out to Pickler. And Pickler gets the kill off the hands of Spidel. And it's match point number 1 for the Arcadia Knights. 24 to Misericordia's 22 as number 24, Quinn Bailey, heads back to serve. Up by Westerfield, Spidel giving it out to Campbell. Campbell is blocked, but the block drops just outside the line. Cougars stay alive as Arcadia has match point number 2, 24-23, and Arcadia takes their second and final timeout. And we're back here in set number 3, the do or die set here for the Cougars as Spidel's back to serve after the Knights timeout. Spidel will have a float. Up by Pickler, Abraham giving it back to Pickler. And Pickler gets the kill on the outside. Point for Arcadia as Arcadia takes the third and final set, 25 to the Cougars 23. Their record extends 15-4, 5-0 in conference play as the Cougars drop 8-7, 1-2 in conference play. Thank you for joining us tonight on MCN 87. Be sure to catch our next home matches, which will be Friday, February 22nd, for 2 more conference matches. First against Eastern at 4 o'clock. Again, it's against Stevenson at 8 o'clock, and you can catch both of those games right here on YouTube on the MCN 87 channel. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Lauren Apetz. See you next time.